This is Big Leagues Country Roads Rankings. Yoo-hoo!
Welcome back to the Country Roads, the top 10 small school football programs, the Big Leagues Country Roads Rankings, brought to you by Knox Community Hospital. Thank you, Knox Community Hospital, for sponsoring this segment. I am Travis KMAC Trav Berardi, and there's a lot of KMAC schools here in this top 10 this week. A lot of shuffling. Some teams that rarely lose drop tough ones. A couple other teams, fighting their way back. But we'll get to the top 10 in just a moment. But first, I want to go through a couple teams that are just on the outside looking in once again. Three teams. First off, Seneca East lost a tough one to Colonel Crawford, a really good Colonel Crawford squad. Drops them out of the top 10, but however, they can work their way back. They still have the ability to. Mapleton, you saw them drop a tough one against Lucas. They can bounce back. They go against Western Reserve, so, if they get a couple teams ahead of them maybe drop out, they could probably get back in there. And then Fredericktown working their way back. They take on Northmore, who was in the top 10 last week. Are they in there this week? We'll find out here momentarily, but that'll be a big one to help them maybe get back into the top 10. But let's look at the top 10. And at number 10, that's the last time I'm going to say that number 2, hopefully in this segment. The Northmore Golden Knights dropped a tough one to Danville this past Friday night, without Max Lauer. Still fighting. A couple things go their way early on. That game might be different, but, the Blue Devils taking over first place in the KMAC. Northmore drops down to number 10. They're 4-1. They have a chance to bounce back. They go to Fredericktown, so that's a big one at the bottom of the rankings. Maybe one team flip-flops them, or Northmore stays there, or maybe moves up. We'll see. Northmore at 4-1 at number 10. At number 9, welcome back to the rankings. Highland 3-2 with Dane Nauman just running roughshod. You'll see where he lands in the stat leaders coming up tomorrow evening. But Highland 3-2, they go to Harding this Friday night. Harding 0-5, but they are in a higher division, so could be a quality win. Playoff points, especially for those Fighting Scots. At number 8, welcome back St. Paul after going 0-2, a really interesting beginning of the season for them. They run off 3 straight. They have 2 really good running backs. Do they land in the top 10 in the stat leaders? We'll see that tomorrow. Once again, tomorrow night, Hayden and I. The stat leaders brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield. There's a little plug for them. At number 7, Willard. They continue to impress. They will really impress me, though, if they can knock off a 4-1 Huron squad. This is their test so far this year. Week 6, if they can compete or if they can knock off Huron, a really good Huron squad, we will know this team's for real. Still, 4-1's nothing to, sleep on or anything like that. They have a really high-powered offense, but a win against Huron will vault them up these standings, and they will show you they are for real and it's not just a fluke. At number 6, the Lucas Cubs. Tough one against Mogadore on Friday night. You watched it live and free on the OH Report. They had a couple chances to take the lead late, but they shot themselves in the foot. Very uncharacteristic of these Lucas Cubs. So they dropped down from number 3 to number 6. They're 3-2, but they have an opportunity to jump right back up. They go to Crestview this Friday night. At number 5, the Centerburg Trojans. They, along with Danville at the top of the KMAC, they will host Cardington this week, and they go to 5-1. 5-1 also 5 wins might just get them into the playoffs. I think 2 more wins is at least. If you can get to 6 wins this year, I think it's good enough to get you in the postseason. And, thinking about that already, I'm excited. Playoff talk already coming up. After this week of football, we'll really get into those. But in the Country Roads ranking, Centerburg sitting at number 5. Like I said, they host Cardington this Friday night. At number 4, speaking of Danville, there they are. Vaulted up to number 4 after that big win against Northmore, 4-1. They lost 28-0 to a really good North Union squad, but other than that, they are a solid squad. Walker Weckesser and company down there at Danville. It's looking like 10 years ago when they were making it to regional finals every year. They have that squad once again. Number 4, 4-1. At number 3, the Colonel Crawford Eagles. With Lucas's loss, they move up to number 3 this week. They are 5-0. They got a big one against Cary coming up this Friday night. And on the podcast, if you were watching the podcast on Monday, I had a chance to talk to Colonel Crawford head coach Jake Bruner, and here's my interview with him. Thanks, Brian. I am joined here in North Robinson with Colonel Crawford head coach Jake Bruner, the state-ranked 5-0 Colonel Crawford Eagles. Coach, thank you for taking the time with us today. Let's just get right into it. Last 2 years,
went to the playoffs. You lost a good amount of the athletes that were on that team. Still make it back last year, lose one of the best rushers in the area, and yet you're 5-0 this year. Just how has your players from the middle school up to the varsity just bought into where you don't need to restock the bench, but just retool?
I think it's a testament to our kids and our leadership of our senior class. They've done a great job in working and, trying to live up to the expectations that was set here before. And, a lot of those kids, and not all of them were back. Obviously, we lost a lot of players the last 2 years, but a lot of them were role players on special teams and those things too. So they got a great opportunity to do that, and they've seen for firsthand how to motivate and how to work hard, and they've just tried to continue that process.
Yeah, over the off season, really horrible thing that happened with Coach Tegg passing away, but it seemed like the community and the team, they just rallied around each other to succeed this year for him.
Absolutely. I mean, Coach Tegg was number one, amazing human being, obviously a great football coach, and he did a lot for our community. He's one of my friends, and it's an unbelievable thing that happened. But at the same time, I'll say this, our community and our team has kind of rallied around that cry, and that's a big part of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we talk about that almost daily, and that's kind of our motivation.
5-0, I mean, you always want to be peaking at the end of the year, but it seems like you guys are rolling towards that right now. What's been working for you guys, and what you need to work on for the rest of the year?
We got a lot to work on still. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things, and we're playing really hard, but we got to get it to the next level. And we got to shore up some special teams. We got to fix some blocking assignments. We got to do some better things on defense. But we're coming along, and our guys are working hard, and they're hungry.
Friday night, one of the biggest games in the area, taking on Cary, the defending state champions, 20 wins in a row. You guys gave them quite the test last year. They were able to pull it off in the second half. But what do you guys need to do this Friday night right here on this turf to maybe pull off the victory and take, front row in the Northern 10 standings?
Well, first of all, Cary's a great program. They're well coached. They got great players. There's a reason they were state champs last year, and there's a reason that they have a program like they do. We're going to have to play extremely well, and our guys know that. We're excited for the opportunity, and we just got to do what we do. They're going to do what they do, and we're going to do what we do, and we'll see who comes out on top.
And lastly, for some of our viewers that really don't know what Colonel Crawford football is all about, haven't seen you guys before, just let them know, what is Colonel Crawford football?
Well, I hope we're a program that does it right. We strive ourselves on hard work and next man up, and we got a lot of kids out. We play hard, and hopefully we show that on Friday night.
All right, Coach Bruner, I appreciate the time.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Bruner and the Colonel Crawford Eagles. They're becoming one of those teams that are, a constant competitor, and with another chance of making the playoffs, another chance of winning in the Northern 10. Tough times through there, especially over the offseason with the loss of Coach Tegg, but they, like Coach said, they've rallied around as a community and as a team to get the 5-0, and they have a very big opportunity to have a season-boosting victory at home on Friday night. But let's continue with the rankings. At number 2, it is the Crestview Cougars, 5-0, and like I said, they host Lucas live and free right here on the OH Report Friday night. One of 2 games of the week in the area this coming Friday night. 5-0 Crestview, 3-2 Lucas. Don't let that record, make you think different about the Lucas Cubs either. They are a fumble and a missed extra point away from being 5-0. So this is a Lucas squad that is still one of the contenders in Division 7, and this is going to be a heavyweight battle on Friday night between Lucas and Crestview. I'm excited to see how that one turns out. And finally, our number 1 team, I mentioned it in my interview with Coach Bruner. They have won 20 straight games since week number 2 last year. The defending state champs in Division 6, Cary, and their biggest test since that state championship game comes Friday night at Colonel Crawford. 5-0 versus 5-0. This is probably going to be for the Northern 10 Championship. We will have a highlight of that one. Cannot wait to talk about it on the Pigskin on Friday night, but this is the big one. If Crawford can get over the hump finally and knock off Cary to get ahead in the Northern 10, or can Cary continue and get win number 21 in a row and pretty much solidify their spot at the top of the regional rankings, which is 1, 2, and 3. Cary, Crawford. No, Crawford actually is number 1 in the region right now. Crawford, Cary, and then Crestview. So Friday night's going to determine a lot in Division 6, Region 22. But that will do it. Your top 10 small school teams, divisions 5, 6, and 7 in North Central Ohio after Week 5. I am Travis KMAC Trav Berardi. We will see you next week on the Country Roads Rankings, brought to you by Knox Community Hospital. We'll see you later.